What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Ryan Garcia, aka King Ryan, part-time boxer, full-time Instagram model, is out here talking like he a real killer, saying Isaac Cruz don't want no smoke. Isaac Cruz is ducking him. Isaac Cruz said that he wanted to fight him in his back patio. He ain't scared of no Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia say Isaac Cruz, when he got the contract offer from his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, that he fails to put his name on the dotted line. He don't want to put it on the line against Ryan Garcia, according to King Ryan. His promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, co-signed it, basically said that, hey, we sent Isaac Cruz an offer, making more money than he made in a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. In other words, it's going to be a career high payday. Payday. I know. Remember Canelo said that to Boo Boo. Yeah, basically said they offered him a career high payday. Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all propaganda. It's a thing that's called political divisions in the sport of boxing. That's why this fight not gonna happen. Miss me with all this, man, I sent him the offer, he didn't sign it. Look here, Ryan Garcia is signed to Golden Boy Promotions. Golden Boy Promotions has an exclusive deal with the Zone. So that means that if you fight for Golden Boy, you can't go over there and fight on no Showtime. With that being said, Isaac Cruz is signed to MP Promotions. That's Manny Pacquiao's company. The guy that runs the day-to-day operations for MP Promotions, Sean Gibbons, said that, look here, I don't know what they talking about over there, but they ain't sent us no contract. Who you sent a contract? Not me. I'm the one who represents Isaac Cruz. So if you ain't sent the contract to me, and you sent it to some make-believe person, and you out here on Twitter trying to make it like we some duck artists, that's not the case. I tell you what, Oscar, I'm gonna send you a contract, and we can put this on pay-per-view. We ain't trying to fight on no obscure app any goddamn way. It's basically what Sean Gibbons said. So all this, people taking sides like they always do. You got people believing in what Ryan Garcia is saying, and you got people believing in what Isaac Cruz and his team is saying. With all that being said, Isaac Cruz could go over there to the Zone because he's not really aligned to a network, but he's signed to Al Heyman. He's advised by Al Heyman. And the only way he's going to go over there is unless you pay him. You talking about you offered him more than what he made in the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Now, what's being reported that he made in that fight was $300,000. And I'm here to tell you right here and now, that's not what he actually made. PBC always release the numbers of what their fighters get. What people don't understand, and that's the guaranteed minimum what their fighters get. Their fighters get what you call pay-per-view money. They get international pay-per-view money. In some instances, they get a part of the gates. They get a part of the concessions. You got sponsorship money coming in. You got all kind of different revenue streams for PBC fighters that do not get publicized, do not get documented. But my intel is telling me that Isaac Cruz made 40% of the pay-per-view. Gervonta Tank Davis made 60% of the pay-per-view. And my intel is telling me that Isaac Cruz made $600,000 when it was all said and done in a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. So it's easy for Oscar De La Hoya to say, okay, he got $300,000. That's what is being reported. And I'm going to offer him $350,000. And he turn it down, he be like, oh, he ducking. I'm giving him more money than he made in the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. But the problem is when you fight on the Zone, you got a limited revenue stream. You're not going to get no pay-per-view money. You're probably not going to even get no money out of the gate. You're just getting your base purse. And that's what Oscar De La Hoya offered him, a base purse, what you call a flat fee. Remember when we heard that flat fee? That word became real famous in the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder negotiations. When they offered Deontay Wilder a $12.5 million flat fee. That meant that Wilder wasn't going to get no pay-per-view money. Never mind the fact that the fight was going to do good numbers here in the U.S. Even though he was going to be fighting over there in the U.K., the fight probably going to be coming on around about 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Never mind the fact it still was going to do good numbers. That fight would have, even at that time, I would have thought that fight probably would have did at least $500K over here in the United States. And he wasn't going to get none of that money. All that money was going to Anthony Joshua. He was going to get the UK money. He was getting, he was going to get the US money. So him and his team was going to, basically, they was making Wilder a horrible offer. And Oscar, and Deontay Wilder and his team was well within their rights to turn that offer down. That's the same thing they doing on a lower scale to Isaac Cruz. They offering him what you call a flat fee with no potential to make or earn more. And you wonder why Isaac Cruz not going to turn that down. You wonder why Isaac Cruz turned that down. That's why. Why don't you do this, Oscar? Why don't you offer Isaac Cruz the same amount of money you offered JoJo Diaz? Same money, and it could be a flat fee. There's got to be a flat fee fighting on the zone because you really ain't got no pay-per-view revenue that you can earn that can up the money. So yeah, give him the same thing that you offered JoJo Diaz. And what they offered JoJo Diaz was $1 million. But you know what? They're not going to offer Isaac Cruz $1 million because they really don't want to make that fight. Oscar De La Hoya want to make it seem like, in particular, to Ryan Garcia that he's trying to make the fight. Ryan Garcia, wake up and smell the coffee. You getting bamboozled. You getting hoodwinked. Oscar De La Hoya don't want to make that fight. You know why? Because his own damn right-hand man, Eric Gomez, basically said that, look, we don't really want him to fight Isaac Cruz. He's coming off a major hand surgery. For him to fight an Iron Chin fighter, Isaac Cruz, is not the best idea. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what Eric Gomez said. So they're not trying to make that fight. Now, one thing they can do to kind of save face with Ryan Garcia, because he's not fighting Isaac Cruz next. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. One thing they can do to save face is put Ryan Garcia in there with JoJo Diaz. That's a fight that can satisfy him because that's another cross-comparison fight. Just like he could have compared his performance against Isaac Cruz to Gervonta Tank Davis' performance against Isaac Cruz, he can do the same thing with Devin Haney. He can compare his performance with JoJo Diaz with Devin Haney's performance against JoJo Diaz. And I think that's going to be the fight that likely happens next. That's an in-house fight. They can put that fight over there on the West Coast. They can put it maybe in the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, IA, or maybe put it over there down the road in Anaheim, in the the Honda Center in Anaheim. They could put it over there. They could put that thing in a whole lot of places. They could put it over there to Inglewood, up to no good. At the renovated Forum, that place got renovated about 4 or 5 years ago. They could put it over there. They ain't had no boxing over there since what? Juan Manuel Marquez fought Mike Alvarado. I think that was the last big fight they had there. So maybe the people that runs Inglewood Forum, maybe they've gotten away from doing boxing events. Maybe they didn't make the money they thought they was gonna make. Maybe they pulled out. But that's another possible venue over there on the West Coast. So I think that's gonna be the likely outcome as far as Ryan Garcia's next opponent. We will see what happens and we will see what transpires, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. It's political division is what's ruining the sport of boxing, man. You got one guy in Ryan Garcia who can only fight on the zone. That's my opinion, and I have no reason to believe otherwise because he ain't fought on no other platform but the zone. That's one of the reasons why that Gervonta Tank Davis fight is going to be tough to make. But the one thing about that Tank fight is it's big enough where they can do a joint venture. They can put it on the zone. They can put it on Showtime pay-per-view. Isaac Cruz versus Ryan Garcia is not big enough for both entities, that being Golden Boy and the PBC, to come together and do a joint venture. There's not enough money in that fight. So Isaac Cruz had to go over there to the zone and fight. As we know, Ryan Garcia can't go to Showtime and fight because he fights exclusively on the zone. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But all that back and forth about who ducking who, and I sent you an offer. No, you didn't, but I sent you an offer to fight on pay-per-view, knowing good and well that Ryan can't fight on no Showtime pay-per-view. All that is smoke and mirrors, is propaganda. You want to put your fighter in the best light. You don't want your fighter to look like a duck artist. And that's what Golden Boy was trying to make Isaac Cruz do. And Sean Gibbons tried to turn the table and say, okay, then let me offer you a fight on pay-per-view and see if you turn it down. We more than willing to fight you. Because Sean Gibbons know that they ain't sending no offer. And he knows even if they did send an offer, it's going to be a low-ball offer. He knows good damn well what JoJo Diaz was going to get to fight Ryan Garcia. And if Golden Boy ain't willing to offer that same amount of money, there's no way in hell that Isaac Cruz is going to take that fight. Isaac Cruz has opponents here with the PBC that he can fight. He can fight Rolando Rolly Romero if Rolly don't get the Tank fight. He can fight a Leo Santa Cruz. I think Leo, what he fighting at now? I know he's fighting at 126 and at 130. He had 2 fights at 130, right? So he can possibly maybe move up. That'd be a dangerous fight for Santa Cruz coming off that knockout loss to Tank, man. That was a brutal knockout, man. Ooh, that was brutal. Now, he got caught in that corner, man, and he got uppercut. That was an uppercut from hell. And he got put to sleep like Tank had given him some NyQuil. I don't know if he's going to be willing to go up there, but that's possible opponents down the road, man, when he do decide to move up to 135. You know, that could be a fight for Isaac Cruz. So Isaac Cruz got some other lucrative opportunities under the PBC banner. He don't really need to chase a Ryan Garcia fight, especially if Ryan Garcia is not willing to pay him, you know, what they was going to pay JoJo Diaz. I know a lot of people say, well, damn, JoJo Diaz had done more up to this point. Well, JoJo Diaz hadn't done no pay-per-view. JoJo Diaz beat Tevin Farmer. He beat Javier Fortuna. He probably had, you know, he definitely had better quality wins, but it's all about prize fighting. What are you bringing to the table? Isaac Cruz can say, look, I was part of a pay-per-view. You know, look at the gate that the fight did. Despite the fact that you heard the fight did 52K, the fight did not do 52K. It did in the neighborhood of 200,000. It didn't do 500,000 like Steve Kim said either, but it did in the neighborhood of 200,000. So he's been part of a pay-per-view that made money. So he's going to bring that to the table. So with all that being said, the fight's not happening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts about Ryan Garcia taking on JoJo Diaz. Do you think that's a good, quote-unquote, replacement fight for the Isaac Cruz fight, or you think he should go to Oscar De La Hoya and demand Isaac Cruz fight and threaten to leave Golden Boy whenever his contract runs out? I don't know when his contract runs out with Golden Boy, but he needs to be really looking at doing what Canelo did. Once his contract is up, do not re-sign with Golden Boy if they can't deliver you the big fights. You know you've been wanting to fight Gervonta Tank Davis for a minute now. You know, if they can't deliver that fight or deliver other big fights, Teofimo Lopez is moving up to 140. You know, maybe you can move up to fight him, or maybe a Devin Haney at 140, or maybe or George Kambosos at 135. If they can't deliver those type of fights, you need to be looking for greener pastures, Ryan Garcia. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But follow me on Twitter, JBsports 3303. Hit the like button if you like the content of this video. Share and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.